Hey, my name is Dave Delgado, and I just want to show you what I'm doing here. I help people sell houses and buy homes and stuff like that. And here's a quick, simple fix that you could do if you're thinking about putting your home on the market. One thing that we come across quite often is the sprinkler systems. And sometimes they work, sometimes they don't work. But getting your home ready for the market is certainly something that you can do in a quick, easy fix. And I'm going to show you what you could actually do right here. And getting your sprinklers to work properly. So I'm going to go over some of the items that I have listed right here, and see if I could switch this thing around here. All right. All right, so we're looking at a few things here. We've got this tool right here. It's called a plastic riser extractor, and it's from Orbit. It's a Home Depot product, and you can see that the ends. It comes with two tips here, a smaller tip and a larger tip. Two different types of sprinklers, and also an adapter. And this sprinkler was set right in here, and basically it's called a 2-inch riser sprinkler, and at the very top of it, it's set to basically push water. So it's designed to push the water 180 degrees. So if you have something that's lined up at the curb, or where you just want water to go 180 degrees that way, you can see that you know, they have different types of degrees here. So this one's 90 degrees. This one down here shows that it's half. So that means it's only going to shoot half of it, and that's 180 degrees. It may sound a little complicated, but it's really not. You do want to make sure you got the right one. So if I'm going to put something like this, it says 90 degrees. I'm not going to put it where I want it to sprinkler 180 degrees of the lawn. I'm going to come to like a corner area. The corner area is going to be more ideal, where you want it just to sprinkle, let's say, a quarter of it, something like that. So you're kind of like at the edge, and it's kind of a corner, so you need something about 90-degree angle. So that's going to work with that there. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to make sure you get the right fitting for it, the right height, because what can happen is what causes these things to break is these sprinklers could be too tall. So this one's, 2 inches, and this one sits in the ground probably about an inch or so, and they've actually have ones that are flat. So depending on where the sprinkler's mounted underneath the soil would depend on how long you want your sprinkler, the riser, and so how tall you want that. So what I did is I swapped out a 2-inch versus it's just basically a pop-up sprinkler, and you can see it's got a little riser to that, so it sets it up about an inch and a half. And then I used one of these things here to secure it into the PVC pipe that's mounted in the dirt here underground, and it looks like that when it's all finished. So you really want your sprinkler, you don't want them above, and that's what this was doing. It was sitting above the yard, and so it's very easily for these things to be broken if your lawnmower would be running across this and it's sticking up. You can see what happens right there. It's got a little gouge on there, and just over time, a couple whacks with the lawnmower, it's going to break that thing. So you definitely want to get the right size, and these parts are very inexpensive. It's a few dollars for this gadget right here, and what this gadget's designed to do is so you could remove this stuff without any hassles. So let's just say this thing was in the dirt, and you insert that in there, and you're able to unscrew it and pull it out, and then you could put this one back in there and screw it back in there, and then take this and screw it on top of that. What's left is something like that. Okay, so that's what's in there right now. It's a brass nozzle, 180 degrees sprinkler. So that nozzle is now going to disperse water, 180 degrees. They also have nozzles that are 360. So those are great, like if they're in the middle of the lawn, the 360 nozzles. So you want to spray basically in a complete 360 and make sure that you have enough water that's reaching all areas of your lawn. So these are quick little tips that you can do to get your home ready to hit the market. Some of the biggest mistakes that we make before we put houses on the market is not doing the proper lawn care, and then eventually what happens is you have weed starts to take over, and the curb appeal can actually cause people from maybe just passing up your house when they're looking at it or driving by it. So the curb appeal is probably one of the most important things that you want to start working on before you get your house to hit the market. Is start with your front lawn, get a nice water system going. If you have a sprinkler system, set that up so it's running probably about 10 minutes a day, and it really depends on the type of lawn that you have. The common lawn out there is like a marathon lawn, and there's also St. Augustine. So St. Augustine doesn't require a whole lot of water, but the marathon lawns do require much more water than St. Augustine. And so when you're getting ready to put your house on the market, you definitely don't want a bunch of weeds. That's going to really impact the sale of your home. It's going to impact the value, the timing. You may think, we sometimes, a lot of problems that I come across is that we think our house is worth, X amount of money. And it really, it can be by just doing these like simple fixes beforehand. So to get the grass green, the next thing that you're going to need is getting some fertilizer and maybe even to seed it. That can take a few months to, really take over your grass. And I'll just give you some examples of here, the different grass. This is what we call like a marathon type grass, where it's green. It's very thin. It's probably one of the best curb appeals out there when you have this planted in the front of the house. And then you have St. Augustine, which is more of it's literally a weed, and that weed looks very good when it's nice and green. In the winter months, it gets cold and it goes dormant. So when you're selling the house during winter times and the grass turns yellowish, that's going to affect your curb appeal on your home. And we don't realize it because we live here every day, and if you've had this grass, it starts to grow on you and you get used to it. But we have to put ourselves in the buyer's shoes, and in their shoes, in their minds, when they start seeing yellow grass, and it just because it's dormant and it's St. Augustine, it's just the way it is. You can't change that. You can do some things to prepare for the colder months to help it wither through those colder months, so that way when spring comes you have nice green plush grass. There's some fertilizer that you can get, but just staying on top of your lawn can really play a big part in the sale of your home. If you want a free report on these 27 tips that you can do to your home to get it sold quickly, just reach out to us. My phone number is area code 562-201-7449. The office line is 562-252-7889, and we'll be more than glad to get you that free report mailed out to you without any cost or any type of obligation. These quick tips can actually, even if you're not ready to put your home on the market, these are things that you want to do, many months ahead of time, so that way you could avoid a lot of the mistakes that I see out there when I'm working with clients. A lot of my clients, they come to me right after. Here's a nozzle that's 360 degrees, so it's designed to spray in a complete circle around this. And the spray can go up to several feet, and the manufacturers will definitely post that on the nozzles that they do sell. But typically you could go up to about 10 feet or so from around this nozzle, depending on how much water pressure you have. So depending on where your sprinklers are located would depend on how much pressure and how closely you need these sprinklers set apart. But these are some quick, simple tips that you can do to get your home ready. And the grass that we're looking at right now, this is actually called St. Augustine, and it's literally goes dormant in the winter months. So whenever it gets cold, it tends to look like it's dying. So you could water this thing like crazy, and the water's not going to really have much effect on it. So and then in the summer months, springtime, summer, it just goes crazy. It grows like a weed, because actually this grass is considered a weed, and it will actually be very, very green. And you could do some things to actually get this grass ready for the spring months. So I'll definitely share that information with you on another video.